Okay, here we are. Another session of HeadHunters Northwest podcast, and I'm super excited today. This has been a really long time coming. I'm excited to introduce Tracy Walker, who is the Chief Human Resources Officer for H&K. And this has been a long time coming because Tracy's known about me wanting to do this podcast, at least a year, right, Tracy?
Yes.
Oh, how does time go so quickly?
It flies.
Well, thanks for taking the time to join us. And I'm excited to have you on our podcast because everybody who's anybody knows H&K. And they have some of the best firearms in our industry. And it's a great work environment, too. So can you tell us a little bit about how you came to work at that great company and about your career and how you came to be a CHR?
Sure. Well, I'm actually local here to Columbus, Georgia, so grew up here. Spent about 15 years with a local snack food manufacturer and then 15 years with a fintech organization. Was looking for kind of my last 10, 15-year jaunt before I retire, and saw an advertisement for Heckler Koch. And I honestly thought it was a law firm. I did not know it was gun industry. So I actually happened in this industry quite by accident, applied, and it sounded interesting to me and to those who were in charge at that point. And that's how I landed at Heckler Koch.
That's great. And great people work there.
Yes, very great people. So that's what attracted me to it was the culture and the people.
Yep. It's a good work environment over there. I know I've been to that facility, and it's not only a nice environment and a nice community to live in, but great individuals who work for H&K.
Yes. Second largest city in the state, but you still have that small town feel. So it makes it really nice. And it also makes it nice to recruit people to the south that maybe want to get out of the cold and the snow.
That's right. Good for you. So tell us a little bit about that. I know that H&K has gone through growth at periods of time. Are you guys growing right now? And tell me a little bit about what's been going on at H&K as far as your talent and needs for talent in the last 6 months or so.
Okay. Yes, we are growing. For those who don't know where H&K is based out of, it's based out of Obendorf, Germany, and all of the production was initially done in Germany. And so this facility was actually built a few years ago. And over the last few years, we've been hiring all of the functional areas so that we could start producing and manufacturing in the United States for the first time.
That is huge.
Yes. And so we've been working on some things behind the scenes that as press releases come out, I guess the world will be privy to. And so we have been hiring and building the production floor and each of the corporate functional areas. Currently at this time, I would say next year, we will be looking for a lot of CNC to help fill some positions on the floor at different levels.
That's pretty exciting. That's a lot of jobs for that area and good high-paying jobs.
Yes, and there's a lot of manufacturing that's coming to Columbus, so it's great for people that want to be in this industry to not only be at HK, but also be able to be marketable in the city that you're in.
Yeah, these manufacturing facilities that are opening up like H&K, these are careers. They're not just a walk-in and walk-out job. There's actually a real career path. Isn't that right?
Especially at the stage we're at, because it's really a 70-year-old startup. Yeah. Because they didn't have production operations. They only had sales and marketing. So to do this over in the U.S., it gives us the opportunity to help the community by providing a lot of positions here. And so we're real excited about that. And it grew from such a small core that there's such a family atmosphere. So we call it the HK family. And as people come, we welcome them to the family.
That's great.
Yeah.
When I visited there a couple of years ago, I thought that the median cost of living and the services were just awesome because you really do have, like, I didn't really realize it was the second largest city in the state, but it's got everything you need, but you've got elbow room, right? And you're able to buy property there and a home, and yet you still have all the services.
Right. We're not in the middle of the concrete jungle of the big cities. So we have a lot of land and a lot of nature, and you can pretty much get anywhere in Columbus within 15 minutes from any area of Columbus. So I think it's very attractive for folks that don't want to be in all the traffic and the hustle and bustle.
Yep. And how far, I don't remember, how far away are you guys from Atlanta? Are you 2 hours?
We're about an hour and 15 minutes south of the airport. So that's very easy drive to.
Yeah. So if you really wanted to get in and out of anywhere, it's a great place to move to because you can fly. It's an international airport. I mean, I wonder, I don't know this. Here I'm asking a question, but maybe some of our listeners can tell me. But I don't know. Is Atlanta still the biggest airport in the United States?
I'm not sure, but they are definitely one of the biggest and international. And then Columbus has a decent sized airport also, but for the international aspect, it's just easier to drive to Atlanta.
Yeah. What a great organization in the great state of Georgia that's firearms friendly.
Yes, very friendly. And Columbus is in a perfect location that you're 3 hours from the mountains, 3 hours from the beach, 3 hours from the East Coast. So if you have a 3-day weekend or a holiday or want to take a short break, you can go to many places and visit things within driving distance, and you don't have to fly.
That's excellent. I don't think I really realized that. Can you tell us a little bit about when you're hiring for positions there? Tell me a little bit about the skill sets, and maybe not like the exact skill set. Maybe that's the wrong word, but maybe the behaviors and the culture as far as what kind of people you're looking to attract. What kind of work habits do they exhibit or attitudes do they exhibit?
Well, definitely, we don't always hire the strongest resume. We look for the best fit, but someone that meets all the skill. And so we're really picky about who we hire. We won't hire a warm body just to fill the job. We're looking for someone that does want to be in that family setting with a strong work ethic. And, you know, mainly our positions are engineers, CNC, design engineers who are designing the weapons, tooling engineers that are helping the floor, lab engineers in the quality department. You know, our motto is no compromise, and you see that on social media and elsewhere. And it truly is that person that wants to come here and not compromise the quality or the product or the reputation. And so if you're looking for somewhere that's just going to spill thousands of guns off the line, HK is not really where you should be. So we're looking for more that individual that really wants to be a part of the family and stay a part of the family.
Yeah. They're good quality products. I would know. I've certainly purchased plenty and have. Those are my choice.
We appreciate that.
Those are my choice in everyday carry. Those I've got several VP9s that I have to say are some of my favorite guns. And you know, what makes me smile is that I've gotten to be there and meet you all. And, you know, it makes me feel like I know who made these guns. You know, I mean, I don't know who made mine, but it just makes me feel good about knowing that I get to work with people like this every day, and then I get to carry their product. So
you need to come back and see everything that's changed.
I do, and I probably need to order more guns, right? So, hey, when you're out there talking with people, and I bet you hear this a lot, people are always asking, what can I do different? What should my resume show? When I interview, what should I say? You know, you have a lot of experience in this, and you cover the broad range of the company. I mean, I think people would be very surprised to know how much you do there. And, you know, when you're looking for people, are there any resume tips or interview tips you could give them? Because I know people are dying to work for H&K, and it's got to be the right person. I know for a fact you guys are picky, and that's good because that's why you've got a good product and a good company.
Yeah. Well, I would say, don't try to have your resume be a book. Some people want to put everything that they've done. Try to keep your resume to 2 pages
Good
if
advice.
you can, and keep it succinct. So highlight those big things that you've done instead of writing paragraphs upon paragraphs, so that it's easier for those recruiting and those hiring managers to be able to go through and see the top things that you have. Call out those skills. If it's in the CNC area, name those certifications and put what machines that you worked on instead of, I'm a senior level CNC operator. Put the machine, if it's an Okuma or a Haas or whatever you've worked on, so that it's easier for the person that's reading your resume to be able to understand what you've done. And the same for the design engineers. Sometimes you can't divulge things that you've designed due to NDAs or things from other companies, but try to put the weapon system that you've done, whether it's pistol or rifle, but just try to keep it where you're not writing a book, so that it's easier for us to go through. And love to see some hobbies at the end, to know that someone who's coming on board enjoys the outdoors or the sporting industry, so that we can connect and see if it's someone that really would be opposed to working here versus being comfortable working here. And then in the interviews, just be honest and transparent, but just be very crisp and clear with what you've done. I think some people are a detriment to themselves because they go on and on and on about certain things, and they use up their interview time when we may have 4 interviews in a row and have set aside an hour apiece, and they've spent all their time on our first question and given us a 30-minute answer. So I think being a little bit more crisp and being able to really lay out your skills is really helpful today to someone. And if your preference is remote, say that it's remote. If you don't have the sponsorship already or the qualifications to work in the U.S., state that, so that you're being clear and transparent, and we don't waste your time and you don't waste our time.
Right. That's really good advice. Wow. Really good advice, because I think this is probably the most important part of what we've talked about, because people call and ask these things, and I don't have these answers because I'm not interviewing them like you are. And I think this is something people really strive to do well, but it's also really nerve-wracking. It doesn't matter how many interviews you go on. It is a little bit, everyone has a little bit of a nervous feeling about it. I mean, we don't know what kind of reception we're going to get. And I know when they go to H&K, they get a real nice, warm reception. They're just down to earth, good people.
They are. Yeah. And we try to take you around the city, especially if you're not from here locally, and really show you the city also, because we're not only making a decision about you, but you're making a decision about us. And we want it to be the best decision for both parties, so that you do come on board and stay with us for a while.
Yeah. Yep. Do you, how many positions, do you have any idea of how many positions you're going to be adding possibly in 2023? Do you have a range that you can share, or is that anything that's okay to?
Well, it'll depend on several factors, but right now I know I'll have 4 in the CNC group in January. We've just completed about 8 or 10 offers in the last 60 days. Wow. So I think those 4 positions in January will be all that we do kind of in the first quarter. But then later throughout the year, I expect probably somewhere in the 25 to 35 positions. And in the next year, probably more than that. So as long as a few things happen that we think are going to happen and fall in line, I think we'll be doing quite a bit of hiring.
Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, that's just great news.
Yeah. So
that's wonderful.
Very happy to do this podcast with you today so that we can get our name out there and let people know, because many people do look at our site and say, I check it all the time, but there hasn't been anything out there. And we've really been in that foundation stage where we've been trying to get everything together. And now that it's together and things are moving, now we'll be posting those jobs.
Good. And is that the place for people to look for jobs when they
Yes.
want to follow H&K? Is it your website that's the best
Yes.
place? Do you advertise other places or?
We do. So the hk-usa.com has a careers area.
Okay.
And actually our talent software, we'll post it there. We'll post it at Indeed, and we'll post it on ZipRecruiter.
Great.
And it will post on all three at the same time.
Okay. So if we can put a link to your website on, we'll attach it to this podcast when we publish it, so people know they can always go back there and look for that when they hear this. That's wonderful.
Thank you. We appreciate you doing that.
Oh, well, we're thrilled. I mean, obviously, I'm a personal H&K fan, and then of course, they're just one of the best brands in our industry. So good people, solid good people, and great products.
Really good products. And I really didn't, I was unbiased before, because I really didn't shoot much before. And then now I have a carry license and I carry, and I'm equipped now and trained to be able to handle firearms. And so for me, I've shot several different brands, and I will have to say HK is that top gun that I like to shoot.
It's a pretty nice piece of machinery. I really like mine.
You can definitely tell a difference when you're comparing it to others.
Yeah, it's a good piece of equipment, and it's reliable, and it's easy to keep clean, and it's something that I feel like I can carry every day and use every day. It still looks nice. It may not be my showpiece, my Nighthawk Custom, but my Nighthawk Custom weighs a ton. And my VP9 is a beautiful, beautiful piece of equipment. They are. I just need more colors.
I keep telling them the same thing.
I think the only one I don't have is Desert Tan. I don't remember, but I think you guys make a Desert Tan.
I think there's another color that they're working on for next year, but I haven't seen it quite yet. But I keep telling them there are so many more females now carrying weapons, and we like colors.
That's awesome. So I probably don't need to ask you which your favorite firearm is. I'm assuming it's an H&K.
It sure is. It sure is.
Good.
I think my favorite right now to carry is the VP9 Tactical.
Oh, nice. That's a nice one.
Yes.
Yeah. And they're lightweight and they're durable at the same time. It's a good balance. I know I'm carrying a handgun, and I know I've got it in my hand, but it's not so lightweight. I wonder if it's going to fall apart.
Right.
Yeah, it's a good gun. Well, I really appreciate this, Tracy. Thanks for visiting with us.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, I thank you for your patience. I mean, I cannot believe it has taken this long for me to get the podcast up and running, but you've stuck with me, and I'm ever so grateful.
Well, thank you. And let's work on getting you back to the HK facility so you can see all our changes and everything we've done.
I will be thrilled to do that, and you can count on it. All right. Well, we will direct people to your jobs page. And thank you so much, Tracy. I appreciate you joining us on the podcast.
Thank you, Shaylene.